Hello and welcome everyone to a new Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era video. So in this one we're going to be going over every Schism unit. I will rank them from F to S and I will tell you exactly why they go where they are in my opinion. My opinion is formed by being like the current number 4 ranked single hero ranked Q player. And also by, just like communicating with like the other top people quite a bit and, also just using my insights. So, some of the things are subject to change and, and this is only like my perception of the way that things are. So let's get right to it. So first off is we have Rash. So Rash is a really crappy unit. He's like the worst unit in the game. It's like, take Imp from Heroes of Might and Magic 3, he's worse somehow. The only redeeming quality is that he can demon farm, but like, let's be real, he's not actually accomplishing anything that matters. Without the upgrade, this guy is, I think the first F tier unit in the entire game that I ranked. Like, this guy is the most pathetic little thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Next up is Tinging Rash. This guy is amazing. He carries the entire early game of Schism and he does it so well. And you get them in like decent quantities, so you actually get to a point that you can even like do utopias with them. And thanks to Communion, plus like them just being Giga Chads, you actually don't even lose any army while farming endgame objectives with them. So they are probably the best feeling tier 1 stack to use throughout the entire game. So yes, the upgrade of the shop actually is going straight into S tier. One of my favorite units in the game. So yeah, I mean, it's a slow faction, so maybe it's like not exactly a coincidence that basically we have like the Gremlin equivalent and the Master Gremlin equivalent. The side grade for Rash is going to be the Ferocious Rash. So this guy has a cone attack the same way that the Phoenixes deal, and they have like a little bit more speed. They're kind of like usable. However, I feel like they are like super niche. Even when I'm completely blocked from shooting ever, I still prefer stinging Rashafs. I don't know, they hit like a certain sweet spot where they are just like amazing and awesome and apply a lot of pressure and are like so strong. You just like def laser something. It's amazing. So ferocious, I don't really feel like have a good space. But like very nichely, if you're almost guaranteed getting your army like blocked off, some people prefer the side grade over to ferocious Rashafs. And I can kind of see it, but I don't really buy it. And next up is the Cultist. This is a big damage unit that is a long reach attacker with pretty slow speed. The reason why they function very well in... Yeah, they function really well on Schism, and the reason why is because you have a Communion. Communion makes you have like extra units that you can bleed, so if you have like extra units that you can bleed off the top without losing any actual army, it changes the perception of the unit entirely, and that's going to be the case for like most of these units. So yeah, basically having to like slowly walk up to somebody is way less of a struggle whenever you have that extra army that you can lose. And so Cultists actually are a very important piece of the Schism puzzle. They're very plentiful, you get them immediately. They have like a pretty good abilities where they just apply damage over time effects over to targets that you can just use across the map. So even if you don't really get to go in on them, they're still going to be providing some decent utility. They're a very strong unit. And also notably, the current rank 2 player, who I think is actually, by the way better than the rank 1 player right now, the latter, Rito sucks. He has like problems with the Cultists, but the problem is that they're like so good that he's mad at the developers who thought it was a good idea to make them that good. Now, based on my ranking, I disagree with that, but I just wanted to let you know that there's like a really good player out there that thinks that these guys are like nuts. I think that they're good. So yeah. Next up is your 2 upgrades. The Binder is going to be like the main upgrade that you're going to be going for, which they will do everything that the Cultists did, but do it a little bit better. You also gain like a new ability that where they like, shoot thing. I mean, like shoot a tentacle where they're going to be dealing half of their attack damage as pure damage and also take away a retaliation. It's an okay ability, but I prefer the damage over time usually if I can cast it. And the Votary is a pretty weird side grade, but they do like a pretty good job. Sometimes you would go for them. I believe they have like that ice pillar thing. Next up is the Agashu Rider. So the Agashu Rider, the tier 3, is a pretty clumsy unit. They feel like they should be like this fast assassin mobile type character, but they're not really, because like without the upgrade they feel pretty slow, and their upgrade is really expensive, so you're not really going to be able to get it like that early. So it's kind of hard to like play these guys for these reasons. However, they have like a pretty good active ability where they basically like get an extra turn as long as they get to hit something. And you know, if you have like not a lot of attack skill, you can also like basically pierce very high armor stats with that ability as well. The Ice Breath. I would say they're just like the Cultist. Like exactly like same thing. They also have like a notable benefit of reducing terrain penalties by 50%, so in some templates like Sprint, they're like really important for that purpose, but I don't really think that makes them like that much better, like as a unit that you're either going to be investing into or not. Yeah, so their upsides is that they are very plentiful, they are really easy to build, like you can just build them day one, they don't really cost a lot of resources. The downside is that getting them upgraded in order to actually make them like pretty good is going to be like hard. And then, yeah, we have the Agashu Tamer, which is going to be like the direct upgrade of the Rider. They will do everything that the Rider does, but they will do it a lot better. Actually, I will put them even like high A tier. These guys actually feel really good. They, when upgraded, actually have that like mobile, brawly, assassin type feel. They will get to the backline, they will block the shooters, they will deal a lot of damage along the way, and they're like pretty easy to invest into, so you get like a decent chunk of them without like having to put in too much effort. I really like Agashu Tamers. Then Agashu Mata, he doesn't really like have enough speed in order to function that well. They are, yeah, as like a niche unit, I will put them like B tier as well, next to the Riders themselves. Tamers, I think, basically the upgrade for them almost every single time. Next up is we have the Grand Sheaf. So Grand Sheaf is like a feast or famine type of unit, okay? So you're either going to be playing Sheafs, or you're going to be playing the rest of the faction. That's usually how it feels like to me. So Sheafs are the second of the units in this faction that can demon farm, and probably the first of the units in the faction that is worth demon farming on. So what does demon farming mean? A little bit of backstory. In Heroes of Might and Magic 3, we used to have Inferno. Inferno used to have the unit Pit Lord. Pit Lord used to be able to raise demons from corpses, allied corpses, and they would become demons, and these demons would last even after the battle. So you could be taking all of the irrelevant army that you're getting from like any sort of like side towns, or maybe like even your own Inferno meat, and you can centralize them onto a singular stack that will be demons, making demon farming a thing, one of the most oppressive and strong strategies in the entire game. The only reason why it's not permanently used is because it's like a lot of effort and mass, and not everyone is down for it. And same in Olden Era. It's like kind of hard to do, but whenever you like actually do it and commit to it, it's really, really powerful and amazing. So yeah, sometimes you will pick like the Eye Collective, which is like, you know, the Grand Sheaf Specialist. You're going to be, you know, bleeding army here and there, but you can pick that army back up as Grand Sheafs. You're not going to be doing exact mass most of the time, and that's okay. The strategy is like still really, really good despite that. I would say, I mean, yeah, they're like pretty high initiative creatures with okay speed, pretty good stats for a tier 4 unit. I really like the Sheafs. They are low A tier. However, by the way, if you're not like really heavily investing into them, I don't really feel like investing into them is like worthy at all. You either go full Sheaf or you go no Sheaf, but if you go full Sheaf, it's really good. So yeah, there are two upgrades. So the Unspeakable Sheaf is going to be, I think, the upgrade that you will go for more often. They gain the ability to double attack, and they're also really, really fast. They are amazing. The Unspeakable Sheaf. And then the other thing is going to be the Unthinkable Sheaf. So the Unthinkable Sheaf is like way more utility-based gameplay, where you're going to be like focusing on focus charges, and then you're going to be using the Black Ice Shards in order to like snipe things across the map. It's also like pretty powerful, pretty popular. Notably, they can do mirages. I am like really not dealt with mirages at all in my Heroes 3 career, Olden Era career yet. I'm sure I will get to it. The only time that I've seen a mirage done was by Rito, and he did it with Unthinkable Sheaf, so they get some respect for that alone. Next up is the Concubus. The Concubus is also like kind of a filler unit, in my opinion. They're good, okay? They're somehow really good, but also like super relevant at the same time. I don't really know how this happens, because basically, yeah. So they deal good damage, they have like an insane amount of utility, their stats are good, their build path is easy. Yet I somehow don't feel like they're as an amazing unit as they are on paper. Whenever you're using them, it feels like, oh, you know what, I think I know what it is. Their growth is just maybe like a little bit too low. I feel like you don't get enough of them in order for them to feel like a power stack, despite having like very many power stacky abilities like Nimble and Duelist. So they have like no melee penalty, they can shoot things that are adjacent to them, they have like very many benefits such as that, but it's really hard to get enough of them in order for you to like play them as a power stack. Yeah. Nonetheless, we are going to be placing them in the B tier. I don't really think that they are that great. Next up is the Mistress of Chains. So the Mistress of Chains has the ability to make the opponent not be able to cast, to generate focus. So I feel like they are the one stack option between the two, and they have like pretty good utility, and that good utility will net them a good spot in high B tier. And if you're going to be playing Concubus as a power stack, you're going to be going for Bewitchers, which will deal an insane amount of damage, and also have like quite a bit of utility as well. I say that this upgrade is meaningful enough to push them into low A tier. They also have like really good utility. Like they have like so many good effects. But yeah, they're paying it with their growth. And next up is we have like the most toxic unit in the entire game. It's the Arbitrator. The fat man in a wheelchair that one-shot things across the map. So the way they work is that paradoxical shots, and paradoxical shots inverses the penalty for range. So normally you deal 100% range damage, and then with distance it goes down to 50%. Well, for the Arbitrator, you deal a normal 100% damage with shots, but it goes up to 150% if they're far away enough, making them the highest damage, like tier 6 unit in the game, apart from like maybe Dread Knights hitting twice, you know? But like, with a single shot, they will deal a devastating amount of damage. If you don't deal with them immediately, you're just gonna die. Thankfully, they are dealable with. They have like some of the lowest HP pool out of all of the tier 6s. So yeah, that is like their main weakness. However, they are really good units, very oppressive, just like dynamic changing whenever they're in the battlefield. They also have some good utility in the form of being able to reposition units. So the Arbitrator gets the high A tier. Then there are two upgrades. Rift Arbitrator is the one that you go for if you want really high initiative. So, you know, maybe if you're worried that you're not even going to be able to shoot because the opponent will move first, then you go for the Rift Arbitrator. You're going to be paying quite a bit. You know, you're losing a lot of power compared to the Bloated Arbitrator in order to gain that initiative. But very usually, if the Arbitrator gets to shoot, you already win. So I can see why you would do that. So I would say that he is S tier. However, due to the amount of like just raw stats and power that you get from the Bloated Arbitrator, I would actually put them in the higher S tier. However, I feel like this is contentious, you know, and situational at the same time. So pick and choose as you need. So yeah, now we have the Abyssal envoys. Abyssal envoys is the last of the units that can demon farm. However, they're like really hard to demon farm because by that point you're going to be needing to do quite a bit of maths. Because, you know, if you're raising 1.9 demons, you're raising 1 demon. And that's a big problem because, you know, they're like super bulky. So you need to lose a lot of meat to be able to summon some to begin with. But then you also have to take into account all of these like other bonuses to like summon sizes and so on. So I feel like it gets like pretty hard. You basically need to like test it and do quite a bit of testing actually. So yeah, I would say the demon farming these bad boys is pretty hard, but also very rewarding. As a unit, they have like a special ability that lets them have an extra turn. It's really strong. So yeah, for that reason, I mean, yeah, they're just like a very solid, high stat, decent unit that has like a little bit, actually like kind of an easy build path. However, they have like a lot of competition on this faction for what you're actually going to be playing. And because of that, you don't necessarily like see them that often, despite them being pretty good. So yeah, then there are 2 upgrades. I basically see them as interchangeable. I see almost like no difference, except for the fact that one of them has the area attack. And actually, I will check out which one it is, because I keep forgetting. Okay, it is the Overseer with the area attack. I would say that he is S tier. He's like super impressive, very, very strong. The Executor gets more stats, like he's a little bit more powerful, but however, losing the area attack is not worth it. They also have like some gimmicky abilities where they like can force somebody to skip all of their turns. I'm not really sure like what that means. I guess if they have like multiple turns coming up, they will be skipping all of them. But the thing is just like for one turn, you're like losing all of your potential turns on that turn. So yeah, I don't really think that those are worth the focus points. You're really just caring about the double turn on these bad boys. The Executor is going to be high A tier, in my opinion. So yeah, that is the roster for Schism. Schism is currently like the most broken, second most broken faction in the entire game after Necropolis. They perform super well in every single format, and yeah, they are amazing. And part of their amazingness is is down to their really strong, amazing unit roster. And yeah, enjoy it while you can. It's probably gonna get nerfed to a certain extent because, yeah, this is ridiculous. Honestly, I would rather see like the other factions like buffed a little rather than Schism nerfs. Hopefully that is exactly what happens. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you over at my Twitch channel. Bye-bye!